Is paying off your mortgage a huge mistake? Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development, and how to gain financial freedom. I've been approached recently by homeowners, landlords, and they're like asking me if paying off their mortgage is the best thing they could do for themselves. So in this video, I'm going to guide you step by step to understand whether paying off your mortgage is a huge mistake or not, and what you could do if you ever want to pay your mortgage earlier. Before we get going, I would like to thank each and everyone who subscribed to my channel. My channel is growing immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wouldn't have sat on this chair today without your encouragement and your views. It's going absolutely amazing. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Do it now. Do it. I'm watching you. Do it now. Fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. I've got a promise to make. You've hit that subscribe button. You've joined the family. I promise to bring you valuable and actionable videos to get you a little bit closer to your financial freedom. You see, mortgage, for most people, is one of the biggest debt they have hanging over their head, and there are some people, quite frankly, having sleepless nights and are worried about what's going to happen with the mortgage interest payment, what's going to happen with the interest they have on their mortgage. It's a really some kind of daunting thing for most people, and they don't want to have debt on their name, and they want to leave something substantial for their loved ones, and it's something that really worries them. I have more than 3 or 4 people asking me the same questions every week. So that's what I'm going to spell out in this video so we can look at it in detail to understand whether paying off your mortgage is a good decision. So let's look at the mortgage itself. Suppose we have £200,000 mortgage left in our property. There's a various advantage for actually paying off your mortgage. So let's look at those advantages first. Paying off your mortgage can save you significant amount of money if paid early over the life of the actual loan. What do I mean by that? Let's take a £200,000 example. Let's say we have £200,000 mortgage and we have a 30-year mortgage life in it. And obviously we want to pay it as quickly as we could possibly can so we can be mortgage free. Let's say we want to pay this outstanding mortgage, the £200,000, within a year. So that £200,000 obviously would cost us in a yearly basis is 200,000 times 4%. So in a year, that interest on the actual £200,000 is £8,000. Suppose we pay that £200,000 within a year. Let's now look at how much interest we would have saved in the next 29 years, because we're aiming to pay that money within a year. So we know we are paying that £8,000 every single year. If you times that by 29 years, in 29 years, because obviously we're aiming to pay for this amount within 1 year. So in 29 years, if we pay the interest of all of that, if we pay off all the loan, in 29 years, the interest we would have paid is £232,000. So in essence, we have been able to save £232,000. As I was saying, that is a massive advantage. So that £8,000 goes to our coffers and we can use it for whatever we want to use it for. So, and the second advantage is financial security. Eliminating your mortgage payment can provide you a sense of security and peace of mind knowing you own your property outright. What do I mean by that? If you've got a property, you've paid everything. Suppose you've got a £600,000 property, you've paid everything up knowing you don't owe anybody anything, you're not paying any of this interest payment. It gives you that peace of mind. It makes you feel like you own it outright. And of course, you own the property outright. You do not owe anybody else. That is a sense of feeling that lots of people want to achieve, and it is a massive feeling knowing that you own the property outright. Third advantage is increase in cash flow. Suppose you've paid all the mortgage in that property. It means you don't have monthly outgoing towards any mortgage payment. So without a mortgage payment, you have more disposable income each month for other sort of expenses. So suppose your mortgage payment is say 4% on the £200,000. That would have been £8,000 a year. So if you're not paying any of that mortgage, you've got that £8,000 to spend in whatever you want to spend. And obviously it gives you a buffer to do whatever you want to do, especially if you are retired or if you are actually looking to go on holiday to have good quality time with your family. And the fourth advantage is risk reduction. Reducing your debt decreases your financial risk, especially during economic downturn or personal finance crisis. For example, what happened during COVID, and after COVID, interest rates went so high. If you had a mortgage at that time, your interest would have gone up, especially if you were on a variable rate, because it went up significantly. So it puts you in that sort of risky situation, especially if you're one of those who do not want to involve in any sort of risk. So that is the advantages. Let's look at the disadvantages of paying off your mortgage early. Paying off your mortgage early is lost investment opportunities. In essence, the money you've used to pay off your mortgage, you would have used that money to invest in properties or any other sort of investment to give you return on investment. And let's take that £200,000 now and invest that in properties and see what that will get us. But before we get to that, let's look at the historic advantage of investing in properties. In the past 80 years, property prices has gone up between 7 to 15% every single year, which has also outperformed lots of investment opportunities like the stock market and gold. So let's take that same £200,000 that we're just about to pay to be mortgage free and use it in investing in property. So using that £200,000, we're able to buy properties that are under £200,000. So we can buy at least 4 houses with that £200,000. Let's say we go on the market, we look for £185,000 house. Okay, £185,000 house. So if you got that £185,000 house, if you times that by 4 houses, that would have given us a property value of £740,000. Okay, £740,000 property portfolio we would be able to buy using our £200,000. Why? Because the bank would only ask us to put down 25% of the amount that we're buying those properties at. And that then gives us the £185,000. Okay? Suppose now obviously we bought this property, we have administration costs, legal costs, maybe painting and decorating the house as well. Let's say that cost us about £15,000. Okay, at £15,000. Okay, so if you add the £185,000 deposit plus the £15,000 to get the properties up and running, that would have summed up to our £200,000. Let's say we were able to rent each of those properties for £1,400 every single month. So that rental income would be 1,400 times 4 properties times 12 months. That would have given us an annual rental income of £67,200. And then obviously we have our mortgage interest payment. Let's say our mortgage interest, again, 4%. That would have summed up to £22,200. Okay? And then minus our running cost to keep the properties going whilst it's been rented. Let's estimate that to be running cost. Let's estimate that to be £8,735. So if you minus the £22,200, which is the interest we pay for the 75% the bank had lent us to buy those properties at. Okay, and then plus our running, because this is the maintenance, management fees and all that sort of thing. Those 4 properties would have generated us an annual net profit of annual net profit of £13,465. So that's how much we would have made every single year for using the same £200,000 here to invest in property. Let's now times that by 29 years. Those properties would have generated us £390,455 in the 29 years. So we still got those properties, assuming that we did not do anything with the mortgage. We haven't done anything to it. We just get the 30 years, literally every single month we pay our interest, and renting the property out, we'll be making that sort of amount. And I'm not talking about inflation here, because obviously if you're a property investor, your rent also goes up every single year to beat the inflation. So I'm only assuming here, same amount, same expense throughout the year, throughout the 29 years. You would have generated £390,455,000. That is just a tip of an iceberg. So now let's look at the values of the properties we've bought, and we hold those properties for 29 years. Okay, so we know our property portfolio was £740,000, and based on our research earlier on, we know property prices goes up by 7 to 15% every single year over the past 80 years. Okay, we're not going to go for 15%. We're not going to go for 8% or 10%. We're just going to stick it at 7%. We're going to assume our property prices only went up by 7% in the next 29 years. So our property portfolio is 740,000. Okay, we're going to times that by the growth of our portfolio, and we times that by 29 years. So that same property portfolio would have generated us a capital appreciation of £5,264,500. Hello. The same amount of investment we've made in 29 years, that £200,000 would have gone up by £5,264,500. And whilst our mortgage remained the same. So in essence, if you minus £185,000 from the £5,264,500, you have a net capital appreciation of £5,080,000. So, assuming our mortgage remains the same, we did not remortgage, we just left it that way. In real life, it doesn't happen that way. You'd have to remortgage, pull the money, and so you can go again. Let's just assume the worst case scenario here. So your property portfolio is £5,264,500, and we have an outstanding loan on the 4 properties of £185,000. So if you minus the £185,000 from the £5,264,500, it would have given you a net capital appreciation of £5,080,000. So tell me, which investment would you make that will give you returns like this? So looking at it now we know taking that risk maybe is a good worth investment risk to take, because that 200,000 would work a lot harder for you, and it makes you £13,000 every single year. Imagine if you're retired, you've got an extra £13,000 coming to you every single year. That is saying you have not remortgaged this property, just kept them that way. It's a good return on your investment. You're talking about £1,100 every single month on top of your pension, on top of whatever you want to do. So here's the thing. You may be thinking about, perhaps you want to pay off your mortgage early. For me, it's not tax efficient, and also you'll be losing all this amazing opportunity. Imagine £390,000 in the next 29 years, whilst your property portfolio worth £5,264,000. You can go again, remortgage the properties, almost pull £5,080,000, which you could either use to buy your dream house or to go and pay off this mortgage here, or maybe perhaps you reinvest it again in properties to make your money work a lot harder for you. So now you've got the figures, you know how amazing it is. You can see the returns it has given us by investing that £200,000. So it's not all nice and amazing. Let's look at the disadvantage of doing that. The first disadvantage is liquidity concern, meaning if we've invested that £200,000, it has tied up in the properties we've bought, and it is not easily accessible for emergencies or other opportunities. So obviously you've got that money in, you're not going to go in straight away and get £200,000 and do whatever you want to do with it. It is within the properties, but you and I know it gives you better and serious return on your investment on a monthly and yearly basis. Let's look at the other advantages as well by using that £200,000 to pay your mortgage. Here's a massive advantage investing that £200,000 in property. There is a potential tax benefit. In most cases, mortgage interest payment is deductible from your rental income. You have expenses that you can deduct within the income you've made from your property. And suppose you sadly, touch base, you don't pass away early, you sadly passed away and you've got a debt on those properties, it means the people you've left with those properties will pay less inheritance tax. There you have it. Deciding to pay your mortgage early or invest the money in properties depends on your individual financial situation and risk tolerance and long-term goal. If financial security is a priority for you, perhaps maybe paying your mortgage off early is a good thing for you. However, if you're comfortable of taking risk and you want your money to work a lot harder for you, gives you massive return on investment and allow you to pay your mortgage within the same 30 years by only investing in property, perhaps using that £200,000 may be a good advantage for you, because it doesn't just give you passive recurring income, it sets you well on nice for when you retire, because it'll be making you serious return on investment, as you can see in the examples we've gone through. You may be asking, what is my opinion on either paying my mortgage early or investing that £200,000 buying more properties? So before I get to give my opinion is purely based on my financial situation and the financial situation of the people I work with in the property investment world. If you really want to make that decision, I advise you strongly to speak to a financial advisor, your tax accountant, or your solicitors to advise you in a better way you'll be able to execute whatever we've discussed in this video. But my strong opinion is that instead of paying my mortgage off, I would rather use that money, invest it to make serious return on my investment and become a millionaire before I passed away. And one of the other reasons why I would rather invest that money is this. If I was to pay for that property outright, let's say that property was, say, £600,000, I paid the £200,000, and then that property now, I own the whole property outright, £600,000. If I sadly passed away and my children inherit that property, they would get an inheritance tax of 40% of that £600,000. So in essence, I would have only left my family with £360,000 out of the £600,000. As you can see, 40% of it is going to the government. Obviously, you and I know what the government spend all these taxes on. So I'd rather invest that, leave a massive property portfolio that generates tens of thousands of pounds a year that my family can live on years and years to come. So there you have it. I'd like to know what your opinions are. Comment on this video and let the conversation going. If you like this video or any of my videos, smash the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next one.